In 2010, President Barack Obama signed into law a bill that I'd sponsored called the Fair Sentencing Act. It was an attempt to bring some justice to the sentencing for crack cocaine. The original law that was passed over 25 years ago had a disparity of 100 to 1 between crack and powder cocaine. We ended up filling prisons, primarily with African Americans, for long, long sentences. The price of crack cocaine on the street didn't change, and unfortunately the use of it increased despite this effort. And still we sat with all of these people in prison for long, long sentences. I took up that cause because I knew that the original law was a mistake and we needed to change it. There were a lot of people who wondered, is that the right political thing to do? But I'll tell you, one person who never questioned whether it was right politically was Jason Flom. You see, I came to know Jason Flom years ago and came to understand that he had two lives, really. His first life was a successful businessman, a man in music and records and recordings and artists that I knew little or nothing about. But the Stone Temple Pilots and Matchbox 20 and Tori Amos and even Katy Perry all were touched by the genius of Jason Flom in the recording business, and he did quite well for himself. But he never forgot that other moment in his life many, many decades ago when he stumbled and fell because of drugs. He got up, became clean and sober, and stayed that way. But he remembered his experience, and he remembered the victims. And he decided to quietly dedicate his life to helping those who weren't as fortunate as he was. He got involved in the Innocence Project. 350 people have been liberated from death row and long prison sentences because when it came down to it, Jason Flom cared. He cared personally. He put money on the table to make sure that people who couldn't afford a lawyer would have a lawyer. The Bronx Bail Project is a good example of that. There were people literally languishing in jail, separated from their families and losing their jobs because they couldn't make bail. Well, it was Jason Flom who stepped up and said, I'm going to make a difference here. And he has. Time and again, he has proven to us that if you care for another person, it really is a definition of your life and the value of your life. There's been great value to Jason's life, not only in business where he's very successful, but outside of business when it comes to human life. He has shown us what these values and principles can mean. I know tonight he is receiving this Frederick Douglass Award. He richly deserves it. He's a man who has dedicated so much of his time on earth to help those less fortunate. I'm honored to call Jason Flom my friend.